Okay, so sometimes I talk to myself a lot, and I'm going to title this, Sometimes You Should Take Your Single Friend's Advice. Sometimes you need to take your own advice. Where I'm getting with this is on a lot of posts lately, I have seen on Facebook where they say, shouldn't take advice from your single friends. Does that hold some weight? Yeah. If your single friend has been in failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship and doesn't understand why they continue to get in failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship, then maybe taking their advice might not be so great. However, if you've got a single friend that's chose to be single because they've worked on themselves mentally from their last relationship that didn't work, like, how did you let yourself get weak in your relationship to sustain and put up with things and continue to allow things to happen in that relationship that you knew weren't right, and yet you chose to stay? So, mentally, okay, did you take the time, if you're looking in your future relationships and what you want out of a future relationship and of the person that's going to be in that relationship with you, to meet certain expectations, such as, how's your communication? Did you improve your communication skills? Have you worked on your communication skills? So can you rightfully expect the person that you're trying to be in a relationship with to have the basics of communication skills? If you aren't offering them, then you can't expect them. Career, did this said person that's now a single person trying to offer you advice, did they take the time while they were single to work on themselves from a financial perspective and say, I'm not where I want to be financially, stable wise, and stability, so I'm going to work on that. And then when I revisit the idea of dating and I revisit the idea of getting into a relationship, I know I'm bringing to the table what I expect. Maybe you're a single person but also a parent, okay? If you have expectations of your partner or the person that you're going to be in a relationship with as far as their parenting skills, are you meeting your own expectations and standards as far as a parent goes? If that person has taken the time to work on their parenting skills, to work on communication with their kids, to work on setting them up for success by supplying them with the resources such as knowledge, behavioral skills, how to interact with friends, how to take the higher road, even sometimes when you want to be petty and get revenge. Did this said single person take the time to make those improvements? Okay? If you can look at your friend that's offering you this single advice that's not supposed to be taken because they're single, and they've done such things, then their advice that they may have to offer may be good advice. And the idea of somebody remaining single doesn't show weakness, doesn't show the inability to be in a relationship. It shows strength. It shows that this said person that is single is going to take the time to hold out for the qualities that they know and they want and deserve out of a partner, and they're not going to settle for less. Now, are there times that even though these said people settle for less of what their expectations? Yes. In those times, though, it's because they're under the impression that this person has the motivation, this person has the will and want to meet your expectations. So is it wrong to nurture them into that? No, you should be willing to help anybody grow. Anybody. So if you get into a relationship and your normal standard is they don't have a car, they don't have a house, blah, 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 I can't date them. Okay. Do they meet your communication skills? Do they show the motivation and drive to put their feet forward in the correct direction to make sure that these hard times don't continue? Then they may still be a person for you. Somebody just told me, just as of recent, and I wasn't even talking about myself, I was talking about somebody that is now near and dear to me. And they're still young, they're still very impressionable. And, I was just repeating a conversation that we had, and was, I'm sitting there thinking, like, how blissful it must be to be still so young and naive, but still have your whole life ahead of you to figure it out. And just pray that they have people in their lives that can offer them good advice. But the person I was telling this to says, well, they can't help who they're in love with. They can't help who they love. And I know that to be true. That is a very well stated statement, that no, you can't help necessarily who you love and who you're in love with. But you always have choice. You always have power of free will. You always have the knowledge to know on what level you need to love them. I can love somebody and say a prayer for them. That does not have to mean they need to be involved in my day-to-day life. I can still be in love with somebody and know that they're not good for me. Know that they're not good for who I am as a person, whether it be a mother, in my career, who I am just for self. And know that I might be in love with them, but it's best for them to be at a distance. They don't have to be in my life. And I can move on, and I still have the power to know that I will love again. And I can be in love with another person. May not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but I'm also strong enough to know that I don't mind being alone. There is nothing shameful about being alone. Being alone is where I found my strength. Being alone is where I took the time to heal so that I don't bleed on others in new relationships. Being alone is where I found my peace and my solace. And now, after being alone, I know how to protect that. I see certain qualities in people where I'm like, you're going to disturb my peace. You're going to disturb who I am as a person, who I am as a mother. And I just don't think that you're a good attribute to my life. And I'm strong enough to know that that's okay. You don't have to be. And I can walk away, and I will find that person that's for me. And if I don't, I've learned how to walk my own path and be happy, with or without. Do I miss companionship? Absolutely. I miss companionship. I just recently dated somebody, and I think the vibes were good because it was new, and I wanted them to be good. But reality struck. Okay, I still know who I am as a person. I still know all the qualities that I've worked on so hard to get to where I'm at. So in my mind, the basics of communication, the basics of somebody being an adult in their form of communication, style of communication, being an adult in providing for themselves, having their own to bring to the table, not because I need it. I'm financially more stable now than I have ever been in my life. In the same token, I don't want somebody to come and take from that. Come add to that. Let's build and grow this thing together. And if you're coming with nothing and not even the motivation and drive to do that, then I know you're not a person for me. I'll give you a chance to show me what you're made of. I'm not inhuman. I definitely have empathy. But sometimes you have to recognize and see things for face value. And if somebody continues to show you who they are, at some point you have to believe them. You have to say, okay. And as of just recent, on my bed, things ended, clean slate, and it's the green light to go and find that person that you know is going to meet your needs. Meet your needs of companionship. Meet your needs of communication. I think one of the biggest downfalls of this last relationship is I didn't feel like I had a voice. And I've worked so long and so hard to fine-tune my voice into who I am as a person. So to be with somebody that just has no want to understand you, no real compassion to hear you, even whether they feel you're right or wrong, to at least give you your voice, to hear you. That was big for me. You know, an example of this is Monday through Friday, I work. I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I go to work. I get off work at 4 o'clock. Sometimes that means I go to the grocery store. Sometimes that means we have extracurricular activities as far as basketball. I still have to figure out a meal. I still have to make sure that a load of laundry is done for the day, or to know that I'm not going to spend my entire weekend after I've been off work cleaning house. That's not ideal for me. I want it done by Thursday. So every day I leave my house between 6 and 6:30. I get to work by 7 o'clock. Sometimes I don't get home till 6 o'clock in the evening, depending upon what my evening consists of chores, responsibilities as an adult, responsibilities as a mother. I don't often, and most nights, at least 4 nights out of the week, I don't sit down. I don't sit down in my home to relax till 8:30 at night. I get up at 5:30, so I'm going to bed 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest. So I've had an hour and a half max of downtime, and even that downtime still consists of sentences that begin with mom. I need, mom. We need to, mom. Can I have, mom? Can you get me? So even then, the hour and a half of downtime still really isn't downtime, and that's fine. I'm a mother. I accept that responsibility to the fullest. Have I always been the best mother? No, that'll be another discussion. Have I gotten way better as a mother? Absolutely. Is there always room for continuous improvement on parenting? Absolutely. And I'm going to continue to strive that way. But what I'm saying is that Monday through Friday, it's mom. I'm a career-oriented person, and it's run for household. During the summer, I've got lawn to mow. I've got snow to remove during the winter. I've got trash to get out. I have to cook a meal. We've got homework to do. I have to talk to my kids about their days, their high and lows. Maybe that they should have responded a little bit better, or maybe I'm proud of you. That was a great way to handle that, and you are definitely leading by example. Whatever that entails, it's busy. It's extremely busy. This said person that I tried to be in a relationship with says, I don't want to be with somebody that goes out every weekend. Well, first of all, I don't. I'm the neighborhood mom. Let me fix that. Often there are 7, 8 kids in my house. I have 2 at home. I like being a safe place for the kids to be able to hang out and do more wholesome stuff, whether it be listening to music. They might be in my living room dancing and rapping to their favorite song. However, I know where they're at. I know what they're listening to. I can tell them that's not a lifestyle for you if I don't care for the music. And if it's too harsh, let's change that. That's not working. We don't live that lifestyle. We're not going to listen to that lifestyle. Let's move it along. But I like for them to have a safe place to go, a parent that's involved, because many of these kids don't have that. And I like for them to be able to have a safe place to hang out and have a good time. And as long as they're respectful to my home, I'm going to continue that for my kids. I would rather my kids be at home where I can monitor their behavior and what they're doing. So, no, I don't go out every weekend. I don't. And every blue moon, more frequently than I used to, because I was a hermit and because I wasn't physically happy with myself. I go out and play a game of pool. I enjoy pool. I also enjoy being in a place where I feel like I can have an hour to 2 hours that the sentence doesn't start with mom. Not that I hate being a mother. I love it. It's my biggest joy in life. In the same token, I still need my personal identity. I need to be somewhere sometimes where there's no responsibility other than just treating myself to something I enjoy. That could be me going and getting my nails done, which I really don't enjoy, but I do it. It could be go play a game of bingo. I've been wanting to do that forever, but I haven't done it yet. But it is something that's on my list to do. Dinner's not really going out to eat with my girlfriends isn't probably as big as it used to be, because I have taken off over 120 pounds and I plan to keep that weight off. So I don't find as much pleasure in going out and sitting and having a meal and conversation in that manner. I definitely want to go out and play a game of pool. I would prefer it to be with my partner. Long distance relationships don't always work out in that factor. So sometimes it's just my girlfriends, which I also prefer time with my girlfriends as well. But I still need to be true to myself. For me to be a good mother, for me to be good at my career, for me to be good in anything that I do, I still have to give myself time that is needed to just enjoy a little bit. And if it's a simple game of pool on a Friday or Saturday night in a bar or a pool hall or whatever it may be, fine. I also, though, am respectful enough to know that that's probably not an environment that's conducive to long-term relationships. So I do make effort on my end to say, here's where I'm going, here's who I'm with. When I'm on my way home, I'll accept your FaceTime. I have nothing to hide. I'll tell you when I'm home and that I've behaved in a respectful manner. I have no problems doing that. What I do have a problem with is if I can't get that same in return. Okay? You go ghost for 2-3 days at a time and little to none communication. You tell me that you'll call, you don't call, and then you expect certain things out of me. I refuse to live in a world of double standards. Refuse to. So again, this is all to circle back to say, are there times that you can take advice from your single friends? Absolutely, because it takes strength to be single and not just be in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship, whether it's a good or a bad one. I absolutely have no intentions or want to be in a relationship just to say I have a man. Because if that man does not possess the qualities that I feel are conducive to a healthy relationship that won't end in toxicity, where we can see eye to eye, we're contributing, each contributing, maybe not equal parts at times, because that can shift from partner to partner. Sometimes this person has to carry the weight and maturity and responsibility and adult. And sometimes this person, on the other hand, does the same thing in return because this person's not in a good place mentally to be able to do it. I can understand that. But to be in a relationship, to just be in the sake of relationship, I'm not desperate. I'll never be desperate. I don't need a man financially. Would I like one to come and add to this so that when we retire, we have a legacy to leave behind for our kids someday? Absolutely. But do I need him? No. I'm going to do that with or without you. What I need you for is my heart, my head, my companionship. What I need you for is to be an ear to listen. I don't need you to always fix my problems when I'm venting. Okay? Sometimes I just need to use you as a soundboard so that once I've said it out loud, I can answer my own questions. Or sometimes maybe I do need your perspective. I'll say, hey, what would you do if? And give them the scenario. Okay? And sometimes I just need to tell somebody how my day went so that I can get it off my chest and move on. So that the rest of my night is not consumed with what's on my head. So let me get it off my chest and move on so we can value our time together. But I need somebody that cares enough to hear me, to hear my voice. This same individual, it was a failed relationship for me, and I'll own that. Calls me at noon, calls me at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. How's your day? Common sense would say, if you're going to ask me how my day was, and the only thing my day has consisted of is work, my conversation's probably going to be about work at this point. If you ask me how my day was, that's all my days consisted of. You call me on a weekend, and I've been at home, and I've been with kids, and you ask me how my day is, it's probably going to consist of those things. If you do not care about how my day was, don't ask. It shows a lot. So this said individual calls me at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. How's your day? How are you? And I'd say, man, it's been a tough one. My days only consisted of work, so naturally, common sense would say something at work didn't go right or has caused me to be upset. And if you've asked, I'm going to assume that you care, at least for the second, and that you're going to listen. To be shot down with, I asked you how you were, not how was work, or how was your day, then, and you shoot me down, and I can't talk, then I feel like I don't have a voice. And I also feel like that I have a companion that's not truly a companion for me, because you're not listening. You don't even have the desire to listen. So really, that would also tell me that you're only in this for your own selfish needs. That's all I gotta say about that. So if you got a friend and they're in a relationship and their man is telling them, or their woman is telling them, don't take advice from your single friends. If they were such good advice, they would be in a relationship, yada, 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 yada. Actually, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that. That single friend just might be holding out for a relationship that's worthy of being in. You know, they're strong enough and happy enough with themselves to not put up with anybody's bullshit just to be in a relationship. And I absolutely feel that way about myself. Okay? So if you want to ask for advice, I have it to give. Do you have to follow it? No. I also had to learn that through adult life. You can't love people more than they love themselves. Okay? You can't lead, the old cliche, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. If you're a friend, you're going to give them the advice. Okay? Because you love and care about them. But as a friend, you also have to understand they may not be in a point in their life, in their own mental state, and their own health and wellness and maturity to take the advice. And you have to be okay with that too. But at least as a friend, you gave it to them. And that's the best you can do. I actually lost a friendship for some time over not understanding that I don't understand how somebody doesn't want better for themselves. You deserve better. You're a great person. You're a great mother. You're a great anything, you know, all these things. How that they continue to allow what's causing the misery to continue. In the same token, and it made me angry. I'm like, ugh, I just can't even deal. I don't understand why you behave this way. It's hurting you as a mom. It's hurting you as a friend. It's destroying you. Like, leave it the hell alone and walk away. You got to meet people where they're at. And you know what? I am blessed. I am so blessed that this last year, probably a year and a half, that we weren't really close, that we didn't take things past a point of no return, which is going to be another YouTube at some point in time, that we were able to come back, and that I was just able to say, you know what, I love you as you are. Good relationship, bad relationship, I just love you as you are. I'm going to continue to give advice, but whether you take it or not, you don't have to. You don't have to. And I'm still going to love you tomorrow, regardless if you do or not, because I genuinely love you. And that's enough for me as your friend. That's enough. And I'm thankful for that. But to say that you can't take advice from your single friends is bullshit. It is bullshit. And often the person that's saying that you can't take advice from your single friends is the one that's trying to manipulate somebody to stay in a relationship that they know they're not worthy to keep. Can't take advice from her. She's not even in a relationship. So what does that look like? Blah, blah. Well, maybe she's not in a relationship because she's strong enough to hold out for somebody that's going to treat her better than you're treating your partner. Just maybe. Maybe you're just doing a matter of a way to control that person and say, well, you're better off than they are because they don't even have nobody. They have themselves. They have their inner strength. They have their sanity. They don't have somebody beating them down mentally, verbally, any of that. They have themselves. They have their children. If they have children, they have their solace and their peace. Can you say the same about your partner, that you're telling them to not take advice from a single person? Can you say that that person is at peace? Can you say that the way that you treat them makes them feel positive about themselves, that you are being conducive to a healthy relationship? Can you say that? 9 times out of 10, the person that's saying you can't take advice from a single person is an asshole. And you should be more scared of that person than said person that's single that really loves you and is trying to just give you some advice. It's food for thought. Take it for what it is. And that's it. Till next time.